Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Connor's giving last night, right? Yes. Fantastic. Look forward to that. Thank you for coming out and helping, by the way, and setting everything up. Very grateful. It's very nice. And that water is looking more beautiful every time. Thank you. Thank you for braving the wet weather. Hopefully a few more people will turn up. Hare Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Okay, I'm going to hand you over to our Master of Ceremonies for the evening. He's looking at you. He's nodding towards you. So I don't know who's who now, so anyway, I'm getting out of here.
Conor will be giving class.
Conor, His Grace Conor is going to give class this evening, so thank you very much to him. And thank you very much for joining in with the mantra meditation. Hare Krishna.
We'll start off with Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava And then we're just going to say quickly the Mangalacharna prayers. The words should be on the screen. So please recite the prayers together. Om Jnana Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancha Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabandhu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vamchakapatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
So today we will be reading
You
from
missed the Parampara sloka. Sri Yuta Padakamalam.
next time.
Next
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 time.
time. Okay.
Next time. Yeah.
Do next time. Okay. Yeah.
So today we'll be reading Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 2, verse 15. Just bear with me while I get my notes. I'm not an advanced sadhu like these prabhis, so I need my notes.
Advanced in age.
Can everybody see it? Yam hina vyatayate parusham purusa sabha samadukha sukham dhiram somitatvaya kapate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So immediately, one is not familiar with this text. One may look at this and think, okay, well, you don't need to be Albert Einstein to say, okay, we don't want to be disturbed by distress. No one wants distress today. But initially, when reading this, okay, I'm with you, distress, not to be disturbed by happiness. Whoa, hold on a minute. I thought your Hare Krishnas were supposed to be happy. You got a book called Chant and Be Happy. But now you're saying, I can't be disturbed by happiness. It's interesting. Happiness is an interesting concept. There's a quote by John Lennon, and he says, when I was 5, my mum told me happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be. I said, happy. The teacher said, you didn't understand the assignment. I said, you don't understand life. Everybody's looking for happiness, no? Everyone here, we all want to be happy. Is there no one here who doesn't want to be happy? No hands. And it's true, it's like everything that we've been told to pursue in this life, the underlying reason is because we're of the impression that it will make us happy, no? You know, when you're a small child and you go to school, what do your parents say? You know, you need to do well at school so you can get a nice job. Why? Oh, you can earn lots of money. Or, if you're not materially inclined that way, a job that you really enjoy, you know, purpose, it'll make you happy. Okay. So then we fast forward, we go to, secondary school. No, primary school. And we think, oh, I can't wait to get to secondary school. I'm going to be with the big kids, you know. Independence, that will make me happy. You know, we get to secondary school. Now what? Now what do we say? We need to get good grades because we need to get into a good university. Because that will make me happy, you know. I'll get good job prospects. We go to university. The goalpost is constantly moving. We now go to university. I must get these good grades because I need to line up my good job prospects. You know, that will make me happy. I then I'll live a happy life. Graduate from university. Secure your first graduate job. Yes, got the job. But it's just a graduate job. You know, the pay is okay. Don't worry. I'm gonna strive. Graduate job's fine for now, but I'm gonna move up. That will make me happy. That will make me happy, you know? So you got your first job. What do we do with that job? I'm earning some money now. I know. I'm really sick of this public transport. You know, people are annoying, costs a lot of money. I'm gonna buy a car, my first wage. Yeah. More independence, that'll make me happy. Yeah. We get the car. I'm very happy for now. Then what do we do? I need a partner now. You know, I'm enjoying my life, I've got my job, got a nice car. I need someone to share it with, you know, that'll make me happy. We can enjoy it together, you know? We now get into a relationship, marriage, you know? Then where do we go from there? What's the next step that we're told? I know, something's missing here. I know what will really make us happy. Let's have a child. This will make us happy. Have a child. We now need independence. You know, we've been living at home with my parents. I just need independence. I'm not happy in this situation right now. So together, you know, we get our own place now. Yes. I've moved out of home, happy now. Child's getting older. Okay, I know what we need. Do you know what would really make the child happy? And us. You know, we can have one each. Let's have another child. 2 children. This is it. We will be happy. Can anyone guess what's next? The house we got is too small. We have 2 kids, they're growing up. We need to get a bigger house now. It's logical, no? We all need to fit in this, we all need to fit. Not happy in the situation, you know, the rooms are too small for them. We really need just a nice bigger place. Get the bigger house. A few decades in, working. This job. I worked really hard to get here, but this job is just, I don't know. I can't wait till I'm retired. I cannot wait. Then I will be happy. You know, this job gets in the way. I could be traveling. I could be doing so many things. Yeah, I can't wait till I retire. Retirement comes. You can take up all the things you wanted to do, hobbies, travel the world, whatnot. And we live our lives like this, you know, constantly searching for happiness. The goalpost constantly moves. And the ironic thing, all of these things that we're told will bring us happiness, equally bring us misery, a lot of distress. Can I see some hands of who enjoyed going to school? You don't have to answer your parents. Who actually enjoyed going to school, genuinely? Any hands? One person? Okay. Wonderful. A minority there.
We both enjoy when kids are good. That makes you happy.
Honest answer from a father.
So a few people, it's a minority. Yeah, we enjoy until there's a group of kids not so nice, maybe start to bully you, or maybe you don't get the grades that you wanted. Not such a nice experience. You know, my future job prospects are not looking so good. I didn't do so well like this. Equally, the job we were striving for, I'm not going to ask the people to put their hands up who enjoys their job. But again, it's ups and downs, isn't it? But, you know, this job that we strive for, equally, you know, if you're dealing with the public, you get people who can be aggressive, quite rude to you. And at times it doesn't feel nice, you know? Brings us distress. Working crazy hours. There's a lot of healthcare professionals in here working crazy hours. That's not pleasant. Equally, relationships. Honeymoon period, they call it. Everything's rosy, beautiful. After the honeymoon period, distress, conflict, misery, passion. The lovely house we got. Lovely, beautiful house, decorated, painted it all nice. The brickwork is starting to crumble. I've got some rising damp now. The roof's coming in. The nice car. You see the neighbour pull up with an even better car. Damn it, that's the newer one. Mine's only 10 years old now. Anyway, it will do for now. Puncture, tyre got a puncture, engine needs work. You see where we're going? You know, all of these things, they bring us happiness in the moment. But that happiness that brings you today is not going to bring you that happiness 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line. But equally, these things also bring us misery. So what do we do? What do we do to cope with it? You know, we're going through this life in society, ups and downs. How do we cope? There was a study done, or a survey done. There was 4 methods of what people do to, most commonly, to relax and to cope with all of this. Does anyone know what any of them may be?
Intoxication.
Any more?
Holidays.
Any more?
Sleep. Sleep.
So the top 4, the first one, holidays. I just need to get away from all of this. I'm sick of work, I'm sick of it all. I just need to go somewhere and get away from all of this. Nice weather, put my feet up, relax, read a book, enjoy the sea. I just need to get away. The second most common, or the second most popular, intoxication. In my workplace, and I'm sure in a lot of people's workplaces, you know, you do the idle chit chat. Oh, what are you up to on the weekend? Most common response, oh, I can't wait I've got that bottle of wine waiting for me at home. I was waiting. Oh, I'm going to the pub. Intoxication, you know. Third, sleep. I've had such a rough week, a rough day. I'm just going to go to sleep, forget about it all. And the fourth one, watching a movie. fully switch off. So, if you go to the cinema, pitch black, fully immersed, escape what's going on. What do all these 4 things have in common? The one thing they all have in common.
Distracting away from
Escapism. All 4 of those things, they must end. We'll get enjoyment from them, but eventually they will end. How long can you stay on holiday for? You book your holiday, you have a certain amount of time, depending on your annual leave at work, your allowance, how much can I afford this? Eventually it's going to come to an end. Then you're back into reality. Intoxication. You can take all the intoxicants, then there's the morning after. That high eventually is going to calm down. Then you have to face reality. Sleep. There's only so much you can sleep. Eventually you're going to wake up. Even if you sleep for, I don't know if it's humanly possible, if you sleep for 23 hours a day, you still got to wake up. Watching the movie. The movie lasts for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and the film's going to end. So these things are, as you said, it's escapism, and then like that, we're stuck on this hedonistic treadmill, going through life. One day we're happy, then we get some misery. One day we're happy, then we get some misery. Thus, the situation that we find ourselves in today in society, we have an epidemic of mental health. We have an epidemic, which people are struggling. This isn't how we're supposed to be living. What does one do? Does anyone ever have a thought, or have ever had a thought of, let's just forget it all, I'm just going to become a renunciate. Let's just forget it all, pack up, go to India, live in the Himalayas. Be honest, who's had those thoughts? Yeah. And as it says in the purport, let's go to the purport on this. Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashram institution, the 4th stage of life, namely the renounced order, sannyas, is a painstaking situation. That renunciate life, sannyas, even that has its difficulties. There's I'm just going to go down. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet for higher cause he took sannyas and was ready to discharge higher duties. Can you imagine how hard that must have been? Can you imagine how hard that would be? Cutting all ties with your loved ones, family, renouncing it all. There was His Holiness Radhanath Swami, I can't remember the full story, but there's a mention of when he was in the caves. And when he was younger, he was scared of, like spiders and these kinds of things. But when he was alone in the cave, there was a scorpion, and you're alone in the cave, you're in their home, So it's things like this we don't think about. We think, it'd be great, but you're going to be living in a cave with all of these creatures who could potentially harm you. The renunciate life, again, has its difficulties. What must one do? What must one do? Sukham, dukkam, happiness, distress. Wherever there's happiness, there'll be distress in this material life. So there's an example given as, again, we've got a lot of healthcare professionals in here. The ECG machine, When you're in a hospital, you see the ECG machine, up and down, up and down, up and down. The minute there's no up and down, it's never a good sign, is it? And this life is like that, this material life is like that. There is going to be ups and downs. It's inevitable. So what must one do? First, we need to be accepting of that. We need to really understand that. Misery is guaranteed in this material existence. Don't worry, it's all doom and gloom right now, but don't worry, we'll get there, we'll get there. Why? Something called the three miseries. The threefold miseries. Tapatraya. So a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-25. Being able to protect himself from the threefold miseries of material existence, the conditioned soul becomes very morose and lives a life of lamentation. These threefold miseries are miseries suffered by mental calamity at the hands of the demigods, such as freezing wind and scorching heat, miseries offered by other living entities, and miseries arising from the mind and body themselves. I'll read the Bible because it's a short one. The so-called happy materialistic person is constantly having to endure the threefold miseries of life, called Adidevika, Ajamika, and Adibhutika. Actually, no one can counteract these threefold miseries. All three may assail one at a time, or one misery may be absent and the other present. Thus, the living entity is full of anxiety, fear and misery from one side or the other. The conditioned soul must be disturbed by at least one of these three miseries. There is no escape. There is no escape. So, Adhyatmika. Does anyone know what that first misery is? Adhyatmika.
From the mind and body.
Exactly. Disturbances, miseries from the body, from oneself, whether that be the body or mentally. You know, the body ages. You know, some days as we get older, we wake up, we've got some aches and pains that wasn't there last week. Or it could be some mental disturbance. The second guaranteed one. Does anyone know the second one?
Adibhutika.
Adibhutika. And what?
From all the
Materialistic.
outside weather, other living entities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Distress and misery is caused by other living entities. You know, we can't avoid that. Just today, this morning actually, I was driving on the motorway and I pulled to not the hard shoulder, the left hand lane to come off, and this van man came zooming up, you know, right up, you know, he's about to sort of crash into behind me, flashing his lights and, you know, cursing. And from my understanding, I did nothing to provoke this person, but he's bringing distresses to me. He's cursing me, and you know, misery, distress among living entities. It might not even be a human. It could be an insect. You get mosquito bites and things like this. And the third one. Anyone know what it is? Adidevik. And what's that, Mataji?
Things, floods, natural kind.
Yes.
If a mosquito is biting, do you kill it or not?
Flies doesn't
I mean, if it is keeping on biting you, what do you do?
put the mosquito net.
If a mosquito is keeping on biting you, do you kill it or not?
I don't feel qualified to answer, but my understanding is if the creature is causing you harm and you can't avoid it, then you must. It's okay. Is that the correct understanding?
This question was asked to Radhanath Swami when he was preaching in IIT in India, in Mumbai. And youngsters, they ask him weird questions. You're still young. And Maharaj said, that we must take precautions and everything, whatever we can do in our capacity, not to kill them, not to harm them. Because we see the mosquitoes or any kind of insects, they are there because of like stagnation of water, and they are populating there and stuff. So cleaning the areas around the house and putting kind of a net around the windows and stuff. And if possible, have like a neem or other kind of oil you can put. Eucalyptus oil also helps. So we must try everything possible within our capacity to prevent causing any harm. Because if we've not done that and we kill, we'll incur karma. Definitely. That's would be karma, killing unnecessarily for our own pleasure. If they harm, like lion is attacking you and killing you, that's different. So there are kind of 6 or 7 conditions where you're allowed to kill the opponents, but it is not one of them.
That rule would only apply if you do it on deliberately or on purpose. On purpose.
Unknowingly is different, because unknowingly we're killing so many walking on. So unknowingly is forgiven. So certain kind of profession or certain kind of things we have, like Kshatriyas, when they learn how to shoot and how to kill, they have to kill animals. They don't incur any sins for that. That's a karma for them. It's good karma. Good karma kind of thing. But if us, the Brahmana or Vaishyas or Shudras, if they kill, that's a big karma for them.
There are some injunctions in
Yes, there are.
certain conditions and certain things which there's some exceptions to that.
Yes,
That's certainly not in this country.
there are 6 conditions. That's entirely separate class, I think. Go on. We can discuss sometime.
Okay. Yeah, you have to remember that one. Yeah, so that's the threefold miseries. We cannot, as the purport said, we cannot escape. And we need to first understand and accept that. We can't escape it in this material existence. There was an example given in the previous verse, 2:14, about the weather, the cycles. When we're talking about ups and downs, you could compare it to the weather, We've got the spring. So it's like we've got the spring, you see all the bulbs come out. Then what comes next? The summer, autumn, winter. Each year we're still bewildered. So when you go into the workplace and you do the idle chit chat, what's the number one topic? Oh, it's freezing here. Yeah, that's called winter. Oh, it's freezing. Can't wait for spring. Spring comes, it's glorious, all the flowers are out. Glorious time of the year. Oh, it's nearly summer. Can't wait. Summer comes. It's too hot. Can't wait for winter. I'm done with it now. I'm done. And like that, we're still bewildered. So we need to just accept that in this existence there'll be ups and downs. So what does one do? Happiness does exist, but we're just searching in the wrong place. There's another really good quote, which I discovered from His Holiness Keshav Maharaj. So, a quote from C.S. Lewis: "A desire that nothing in this world can satisfy. The most probable explanation is that we're made for another world." That sounds nice, doesn't it? And there is another world. Spiritual world. Vaikuntha. Vai, without, kunt, anxieties, distress. Without anxieties, Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. There is a place that exists without all of these miseries. Again, it goes back to a few weeks ago, I was talking about Atmaram. The self-realized soul. completely content, just bathing in that transcendental bliss, not disturbed by happiness or distress, ups and downs, gains, loss, honor, dishonor, completely equiposed, that equanimity, amaram. So how does one try to, okay, we understand that, but we're still existing in this world. How do we function? We can't renounce, that's too difficult. And that's the conversation what Krishna is having with Arjuna. Arjuna's like, I don't want to fight on this battlefield. I just, forget it all. And Krishna explains, okay, well, do you want to become a renunciate? This is what you have to go to. Arjuna's like, oh, I can't do that, it's too complex. So what does one do? Well, first we need Shraddha, we need faith that there is something more to this reality, to this existence, in this material world. Then we need knowledge, we need Gyan. And we'll move on to the next verse. Bhagavad Gita 2:16. Nasato vidyate bhavo nabhavo vidyate sataha ubayo epidristo nitas tvayanyos tattva dasibi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Just that first sentence is so powerful, really deep meditation. There is no endurance of the changing body. There is no endurance. Endurance means the capacity of something to last or withstand wear and tear. There is no endurance of the changing body. That the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science. And thus growth and old age are taking place in the body. But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing, and the soul is eternal. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonalist and personalist. So we need knowledge of who we truly are. We're not these material bodies. So we got, this gross body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. The subtle body, the mind, ego, and intelligence. And then our Swarupa, our true form, the Atma, the soul. And it's referenced in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm bringing up all these references because, we don't just say these things. This is all referenced in Sastra. If I could find it. Srimad Bhagavatam 7:7-23. I won't read the Sanskrit because of time. But there are 2 kinds of bodies for every individual soul: a gross body made of 5 elements, 5 gross elements, and a subtle body made of 3 subtle elements. Within these bodies, however, is the spirit soul. One must find the soul by analysis, saying, "This is not it, this is not it." Thus, one must separate spirit from matter. Spirit versus matter, sat versus sat, sat eternal, asat temporary. So we need knowledge, we need to understand, we really need to understand these points. we really need to understand these points. It says in the Bhagavad Gita 2:12, Krishna says, "Never was there a time when I never exist, nor you, nor these kings, and there's never a time when we will cease to exist. The soul is eternal. That's our true nature, not these physical, material bodies. That's our true identity. And actually, we're not just individual souls floating about with no motive. What is our what are we doing here? We're servants, we're eternal servants of Krishna. We're eternal servants of Krishna. Krishna and Nitya Das. Again, it's reference. I'm going to put it for last reference. C.C. Madhya. It's the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord, like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire. Krishna has 3 varieties of energy. So I'm just using that purport as just to reinforce the point. I'm not going to read it, but yeah, we're eternal, and we are eternal servants of Krishna. That is why we are here. That is what we are. We're part and parcel of Krishna. Let's go back to this purport 2:16. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself, the difference between oneself and the Supreme Being, the difference between oneself and the Supreme Being, understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. So again, we are part and parcel of Krishna. It's like the fire and a spark, or a drop of water in the ocean. We're the same in quality, but we're different in quality. We're part and parcel. We're part of the whole. Krishna is the whole, and that's our true identity. So it takes jnana, it takes knowledge. We need to really understand. Okay, who are we? Why are we here? And that's how we remove, as it says in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, we have to remove this ignorance. We're so bewildered, we're so attached and identified to these physical forms, this gross body. But, as we read, that's not our true nature. We're a soul inhabiting this body. So we need to get rid of this ignorance. And how do we do that? How do you remove ignorance? What does ignorance mean? How do we remove ignorance? It's through knowledge, it's through jnana. And there's a process. So the first step would be, okay, well, as I said, you need shraddha, you need faith. I'm questioning this existence. I need, have some faith that there is something more. And then what do? Well, first we need knowledge on who the Supreme is. Who is God? Who is He? How can I form a relationship with Him? What's our connection with Him? That's called sambandha. That's the knowledge of, okay, how can I understand who God is? And that's the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing about this Krishna consciousness. There's clear descriptions. Not that we're comparing with any other traditions, but there's no other tradition that has it so clear. What Krishna looks like. What's his qualities? What's his personality like? What is he like? What does he do? What does he get up to? Where does he live? All of these descriptions, it's all there. So you start off with the process of Shravanam, hearing the pastimes of Krishna. If you've read the Krishna book, You know, there's so many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastimes. So we start like that. Kirtan, chanting the name, speaking the name of Krishna. It's said that Krishna is not different from his name. So just by chanting and speaking the words, the name of Krishna, you know, inviting him, you know, we want to know you, we want to get to know you, you know. So once we understand, or we have an understanding of who Krishna is, then we need the knowledge of how can we re-establish that connection with Krishna. And that process, the next step is called Abhidaya. Abhidaya. And that's essentially the practical application. Okay, so I have an understanding of who Krishna is, what he likes, etc. Now is the practical application. I want this relationship with you. So this is where your sadhana comes in, your daily sadhana. Sadhana means to attain. You know, we want to attain this relationship with him. You know, following the four regulative principles, so we can purify ourselves, so we can be on the best platform, highest platform to connect with Krishna. Doing our japa, chanting, getting that connection with Krishna. Offering food to the deity, taking prasadam, serving the devotees, and all of these things. This is the practical application to re-establish that connection with Krishna. And the third step, prayojana, that's the ultimate goal, that's perfection, that is love of God, love of Krishna. And that's what we all aspire for, you know. It's a three-stage process like that. If I draw an analogy, and I'm not comparing it to you because you can't compare, but you know, in this mundane material world, if you want to form a relationship with someone, well, first you need to have an idea of who this person is, what do they like, you know, who is this person? Once we then have an understanding, okay, now I need to do the practical steps. I need to do X, Y, and Z because I know this person likes this, and we can, you know. And then the ultimate goal, we form that relationship, you know. So it's like that. Obviously not on the same level, you can't compare, but I'm just drawing analogies. And that's why I said that this Krishna consciousness is also referred to as a spiritual science. You know, again, we've got some medical professionals, some scientists in here, but with every science, you know, science experiment, you have your hypothesis, your theory, then you have the experiment, you know, the practical part, and now I need to try it out. Then you have the results, then you have the conclusion. So, if we follow this process, Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojana. So, got 5 minutes left. Yeah, so this was it. So, back to the initial point. Although the happiness in this material world that we're seeking may be temporary, true happiness can be found, but we're just searching in the wrong place. We're searching in the wrong place. Once we have knowledge of where, it's that God-shaped hole in the heart, dying to be filled. You know, we're trying to fill it with all these things, but the only person that can fill it is Krishna. So we must gain the knowledge, try to form a relationship with him, be steady in our sadhana, practice. Yeah. I'll leave it there. We've got 5 minutes. Thank you all for listening and for being patient with me. Any questions, discussions, criticisms, chastisements, corrections? Hare Krishna.
Referring to the verse, happiness and distress, are we to understand it from that there actually isn't any happiness or distress in one sense? So there's no, happiness doesn't exist in a material sense, that's actually not being disturbed by happiness and distress. So these peaks and troughs are not really happiness or actually distress. So you have to understand that that's just a condition of the human condition or the material condition. That actually isn't really what that is. Just a word that's describing a condition in a one point of condition. But it's not really happiness, not really distress. So happiness is something different. Yes? Is that the...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's very different. Happiness, what we're talking about, is very, very different. What we experience in this world. In the world, what we experience is kind of lack of distress. We describe it as happiness. But there is no universal definition that the same happiness that applies to me is going to please you and make you happy or make you happy. It doesn't. There is no universal. But in Krishna consciousness, the more you go, the other two devotees, they can relate and they can discuss and they say, yes, this is what it is. But what we experience in this world is just a lack of misery. If that misery is little less, we say it happiness, and that's the only thing what we call happiness. It doesn't exist.
If that misery is for someone else.
Paradukh Sukhi is materialistic happiness.
Go
And the court Vaishnav will be Nama Shai Shalai Hai Raj Thakur Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakti Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Shri Radha Gopinath. All glories to Sambal Devotee. All glories to Sambal Devotee. All glories to Sambal Devotee. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga.
Yeah.
our special gathering tomorrow.
Haribol.
So we have a special gathering at Dankati Prabhu's house tomorrow, starting from 3 o'clock. I'm sure everyone is aware. So whoever is coming, please come. I think there's some parking information need to be known. So there is a road called Grange Road. There's a lot of parking is there. It's just kind of behind his house. So Grange Road that you can Google, find is there.
Grunge, G-R-A-N-G.
Yeah, Grange Road, very famous road.
Yeah.
It is for us. That's Gillingham Heights.
Apparently Highland used to go along there, didn't
Yeah,
they?
that's right.
What's his name, the guy with the hat, the mask?
Dick Turpin.
Dick Turpin, yeah, he used to really love something.
So that's announcement for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then next Saturday we have another Sangha that's in Graves and Hindu Temple, and that's from 3 to 5. So anyone who is interested, will be reading a different book there, Ushiri Ishu Upanishad. We'll put that in our Sangha group. I'll send you updated one. So we can put it in the announcement. So that will be starting. So it's going to be once a monthly session there. We're not committing in every week. Too much activity. We'll see how it goes in the future. And then there is 7th of March, big festival at Radhanath Prabhu's house or farm. So please block that date. Don't book anything else. Please come. We have a very, very special guest coming. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, so let us honor not just him, but also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance today. Big one. Gauranga! 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 Yes, that person's appearance day is on the 4th, but we'll be celebrating on the 7th at the farm. So please come. We'll have a nice Kirtan, nice festival, and a lot of peace, definitely. Yeah. Anything else?
Quiz. What about your quiz?
Yes. Next. No. 6th of March. We'll have a quiz session.
Yes, it's.
And she's the master of the ceremony. With a little support from me.
So it's chapter 2, verse 15.
So entire chapter 1
Oh, yeah.
and plus chapter 2 till verse 15.
Yes.
Yeah?
So study up, be prepared.
Yes.
Teams of upturn and down.
It's an open book. Yeah.
What are the
So
books to
please-
study then?
Just like a
Just Bhagavad Gita.
That's what we've been learning over the last
Yeah.
year.
So please bring me a copy of Bhagavad Gita that you have at
Yes,
home.
it is an open.
Or you may use your phone to access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to call it a quiz, but really,
Yeah. There you go. So we have a lot of activities planned.
Yeah, so
But it's going to be fun game. It's not about test of our knowledge, but this is about to kind of get our brain acting a little bit. And as we continue reading, we forget what we have read before. So it's good to just revise it a little bit, and we'll do it together. It's not that anyone is more knowledgeable and others not. It's just just a bit of fun. Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Much awaited. Prasad.
Mahaprasad.
Yes. Next Friday is Harinam, starting from 6 o'clock.
Jai.
Yeah, Harinam. So starting from 6 o'clock, we'll start from here and go all the way High Street and come back and end here. Then we'll have a class. And next week's class is by Mukunda Prabhu.
Hari.
No surprises, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinde. Nama Brahmani Vaishnavi. Sarvapunya Padam Raja. Svamaiva Jayate. Sarira Vijaja.
Katina samsare, Krishna bhagavad doya boy, Gori bari jiva joy, Swapasadana dilo pai,